Hey, want to hear something cool? Me too, but we're talking about the fifth Indiana Jones movie. Indiana Jones is one of the greatest cinematic icons in history. For years, we were dazzled by his high-stakes adventures. We watched him take on the Nazis, save the Ark, beat up the Thuggee, save the Shankara Stones, take on the Nazis, again, and save his relationship with his father. The Indiana Jones trilogy was perfect. Then the fourth one came out and shit the bed. If we thought that nuke-proof fridges and Shia LaBeouf were the worst things to share a screen with old Dr. Jones, the universe just said, hold my beer. Indiana Jones 5, Phoebe Waller-Bridge lands female lead in next installment opposite Harrison Ford. Following the confirmation at the Disney investor presentation in December that the next film was a go, Lucasfilm and director James Mangold looked to have their sights set on Harrison Ford's first new co-star in the next installment of the Indiana Jones franchise. Sources tell Deadline that Fleabag Emmy winner Phoebe Waller-Bridge is set to co-star opposite Harrison Ford for the fifth installment, with Ford returning as everyone's favorite fedora-wearing, whip-slinging archaeologist. Mangold is taking over directing reins from Steven Spielberg, who is still serving as producer, and is very much involved with various elements of the film. Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, and Simon Emanuel will join Spielberg as producers. John Williams, who has worked on every score in the 40-year franchise, including the iconic theme, will also return as composer. The hope is to start production this summer, with Mangold meeting with other talent for other roles in preparation for production. Plot details are still vague on what new adventure awaits Jones, as are the details behind who Waller-Bridge will play. This would mark a sort of pseudo-reunion for Waller-Bridge and Lucasfilm, having voiced L337 in Solo, a Star Wars story. Waller-Bridge is repped by UTA. Didn't they just dump Gina Carano? Nah, that's a story for another time. Bond, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Why the fuck is this woman everywhere? So I guess Lucasfilm is still living in La La Land because they think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a good fit for Indiana Jones 5. I'm sure there are those out there who don't know who Phoebe Waller-Bridge is. According to her Wikipedia, Phoebe Mary Waller-Bridge is an English actress, writer, and television producer. She's best known as the creator, head writer, and star of the BBC tragic comedy series Fleabag. She was also the showrunner, head writer, and executive producer for the first series of Killing Eve, which she adapted for television. Both Fleabag and Killing Eve are highly acclaimed and have been named among the 100 greatest television series of the 21st century by The Guardian. Oh man, The Guardian. Awesome. Before we get any further into this, I want to tell you a deep, dark secret about me. I'm lazy. I don't want to keep typing out Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And the letters PWB, they look funny together, so I'm just going to call her Poob. It's like a Natalie Portmanteau of poo and boob, because she's the shit and her work is the tits. Like they say, if the shoe fits. I don't know what the appeal of Poob is, all of a sudden. Most of us hadn't heard of her until Fleabag, and I'm sure most of you were wondering why the hell L337 is in Indiana Jones 5. I guess Lucasfilm couldn't let Harrison Ford, Julian Glover, and that guy who plays both Hitler and Admiral Ozzel have all the fun and be in both Star Wars and Indiana Jones, right? Hell, Julian Glover beat Poob to the trifecta, being the first person to be the bad guy in Star Wars, James Bond, and Indiana Jones. They can't call her the first person to hit the big three, but you know they'll start billing her as soon as this video drops. Adding Poob to the holy franchises sounds like a modern solution for a non-existent problem. Unlike a lot of people online, I don't just yell into a camera, I yell into a microphone. Instead of just being angry that, oh god, a woman is in Indiana Jones, I thought, why is this woman in Indiana Jones? Why is this woman, Poob, in all the big classic properties? What do the people in power see in her? There's gotta be a reason why. Let's work on that part together. A lot of people tapped to work on the classic franchises like Poob seem like an out of left field choice. On the acting front, it's more obvious, but I saw Solo and she isn't funny. So why would I think she'd fare better in a franchise with less room for humor? To just cut to the chase, fans are concerned because we watched faux Solo get a talking to by her, and now it's Indiana Jones' turn. Why do all the classic heroes need a talking to by some out-of-place character who the audience cheers for when they die? I'm not from the future, nor do I have any insider sources, but I'm willing to make a Dukes Brothers bet that Poob puts Indy in his place most of the movie. Yes, the guy who saved humanity 4 times is going to be brought down a peg or two by some fast-talking, witless twit. Goody! I'm sure American audiences will be lambasted by American critics for being too stupid. Isn't that how critics treated Star Wars fans when they didn't like what happened to Luke Skywalker? The Last Jedi defense started with, the audience didn't understand it, and then devolved into ugliness. Based on the past few years, this is what I'm expecting to see. I'd like to be wrong, but something, outside of the desire to be right, tells me I'm not. I'm sure it'll be similar to what James Bond will go through. Let's talk about that. There is a trend to dump on classic characters. The male ones anyway. It's like the lamest form of revenge. It started with The Force Awakens once Rey told Han Solo how to fix his own goddamn ship. It was all over from there. Don't hold her hand, don't tell her how to run, Rey is her own woman! Good for her, but then why does she steal a family name and act like she's part of that lineage? That's not how families work. That's not how any of this shit works. Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement to make. I have decided to change my name to Prince Philip and I'm new royalty. This isn't how any of this works, and you know it. This situation escalated with some douche remaking Ghostbusters and then dumping on men the entire press junket. Anytime people questioned that, blah, blah, blah. Sexist. It's tiresome, but I'm ready for more. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around. The reason I'm less than thrilled about Poob's involvement in Indiana Jones 5 is because I don't want Indy to get the 007 treatment. The 007 treatment? That sounds awesome. Women, boobs, booze too, money, gambling. Nope, no more. The 007 treatment is the symbolic castration of a cinema icon by the idiots in charge. For the American version, see the bastardization of Luke Skywalker. It's equally heartbreaking. No Time to Die, the next Bond film that keeps magically moving release dates because it's only the Rona, right? Sure. I know, it's because the film is so late that the technology is dated, but since 2019, there have been bad rumblings about this film, and all roads lead to Poob. Phoebe Waller-Bridge brought in to liven up new Bond script. It's not a mission for the faint of heart. Rescue a script in serious need of humor and writer panache. But if anyone can do it, Fleabag can. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who created, wrote, and starred in the eponymous BBC hit, has been brought in to liven up the script for the next James Bond film, still known as Bond 25. Well, it's now called No Time to Die, but I think Bond 25 was still a better title. So after that announcement, there was a lot of head scratching. Her on Bond? Well, there's more. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I was not hired for Bond because of my gender. Phoebe Waller-Bridge will only be the second woman ever credited on a Bond movie script, but she has insisted gender will not be the reason she was hired. The Fleabag creator said it was mad and exciting to work on No Time to Die, in which Daniel Craig will play 007 for the final time. Thank God. But there was never a conversation about her being there to help the film's female characters. It was a really mad job to get, she told the audience at South Bank Centre in London. I actually said to one of my producers once while we were making Fleabag that it would be a really cool thing to do, one day. And then, it was only a month later. Waller-Bridge was being interviewed by Deborah Frances White, the comedian and writer best known for her podcast, The Guilty Feminist. Frances White said she could not think of another woman being asked to work on a Bond script. I think the very first Bond film there was, but not since, Waller-Bridge said. But that really didn't come into the conversation. That's only really the press that have made that a thing in terms of being a woman. You can see it as a button-pressing thing. I'm just going to call this woman the script doctor no. My issue with Poob on 007 isn't because she's a woman. I know her work. I don't like incompetent characters getting praised because the show has the right themes. To the people in power, that's more appealing than money. Shortly after Poob was announced, we had this bombshell. Lashana Lynch to be the first female and black 007 spy ever. Bond 25 is flipping the script on the franchise, and we're not talking about firing writers. It's now been confirmed that the next 007 spy will be Lashana Lynch, making her the first black and female person to hold the title on the silver screen. This is not going to help No Time to Die, so why bring this drama to Indiana Jones? It's not like the series can take it. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. And I'm not even talking about Harrison Ford's age. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was one of the most painful moments I've ever experienced in a cinema. I watched Indiana Jones become a joke. Now, this was before the identity politics and all these other shields for bad entertainment existed. Indiana Jones 4 sucked because of a bad story, bad effects, a bomb-proof fridge, and Shia LaBeouf. I think Harrison Ford was the only one who cared.
Part-time.
Okay, he cared part-time. Still more than the people making the genre pictures these days. And if you're so worried about him, read our comic. Maybe we'll let him out of the basement. Indiana Jones 4 is to the Indiana Jones franchise as the prequels are to the Star Wars franchise. They're not as good as the original, but things can get worse. It's not fair to James Mangold either, who has made excellent films. But great directors can be stifled by stupid executives. And guess who's the executive in charge of Indiana Jones? Bingo. I'll spare you a trip down memory lane, but these 3 words will bring everything back to you. The Last Jedi. Sorry. See all my other videos for more details. Actually, our biggest videos aren't even about Star Wars, so that joke isn't even real. The core of my problem isn't Phoebe Waller-Bridge or Poob as she's been known here. It's the state of Hollywood. It's the same voices that get spread around like they're gospel. They, Hollywood, pronouns pal, want to preach to us about diversity and inclusion, but all these franchise revivals or continuation films are all the same. Take a classic character or franchise, modernize it by replacing the men with women, deflect yourself from criticism by calling your fans names, and then wait for the profits to drop. Neither James Bond nor Indiana Jones can survive Poob. Her brand of humor, Poob, leans one way, and I'm not even talking about politics. The last time I saw Poob on the big screen, or heard her at least, was in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Indiana Jones deserves better.
Part-time.
The character shouldn't be dissected by identity politics for 2 reasons. First, they should have stopped making the films in 1989, and 2, the actual point, it's set in the past, so hopefully we can avoid this film giving us a talking to about women's place in 1950s or 60s America. It's 2021, let's thank our grandmothers instead of acting superior. That was a generation who went to war and was faced with economic depression. This is a generation that eats laundry detergent and literally shakes over tweets. If anything, make Indiana Jones just like the real-life Harrison Ford and have him tell all the other characters to fuck off. I'd like to share with you my biggest reason for never buying into Poob, Josh Trank. Anytime I see anyone like Poob who's thrust into everything based off a few things, I'm reminded of Josh Trank and how the stress was too much that he just tanked everything. The Fantastic Four is an institution, and you had that guy. But Chronicle! But what? Hype is a motherfucker, and very few can live up to it. If I'm supposed to judge people on their work, then Poob is a no for me. I'm sure she's nice and all, but her brand of entertainment isn't for this guy, and it's the antithesis of Indiana Jones. Why? Because this is how her work is written about. But in Fleabag's case, Phoebe needn't worry. Fleabag, no, we don't know her real name, is a real deeply flawed woman who, yes, in the opening episode masturbates to a video of Barack Obama while lying next to her boyfriend, who we don't see often on screen. Messy, sex-obsessed Fleabag definitely does not cater to the male gaze, and that's enough of a feminist act itself. Well, Indiana Jones hates fast women and Elsa Schneider hates arrogant men, and I hate whatever the fuck is about to happen to Indiana Jones 5. If it's not about shitting on his legacy, then it's about killing him. Get ready, folks. This is gonna be ugly. So what do you think of the announcement of Phoebe Waller-Bridge attached to Indiana Jones 5? At the end of the day, it's L337 coming over to Indiana Jones, and you know what? She sucked there. Why put her here? Do we really need to have Indiana Jones talked down to? He's an icon. Let him go off. Let him ride off into the sunset. The mistake you made in 2008 was reviving the character. You're about to make that mistake again. It's like that South Park clip. Indiana Jones is about to be thrown in another fucking pinball machine, and they're going in dry this time. So folks, on the way out, do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. If you like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and all that fun stuff, check out our comic Stealing Solo, a Captain's Parody. It's about a group of guys who hated episode 7, and they remake it in their basement. The only problem? They kidnapped the lead actor to remake the film. So folks, if you like that type of humor, if you like this type of humor, if you like comics without identity politics, check out Stealing Solo. The link is in the description below, and it's only available for a few more days on Indiegogo. So click that link, get yourself a copy with a cover from Anna, that Star Wars girl, and read it. Tell me what you think. Also, while you're over there, there are Fandom Menace trading cards. Yeah, turns out those are really, really popular over in the campaign. After I looked at the numbers, I realized, oh, so be prepared for me to talk about those more, because I make them, and once they go away, I don't plan on bringing them out. So get them now while you still can. But folks, I'll be back next time with more. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, backing the comic, joining us over on Patreon, and doing the one thing I always ask. I go through, I read what's up, I see what's posted, and I'm very happy. I want to take the time to thank everybody in our Facebook group, actually everyone on our community, because I end the video with one request, and I gotta give you guys a lot of credit. You do it all the time. So from all of us here at World Class Bullshitters, thank you for watching, but most importantly, thank you for being excellent to each other. The world is a fucked up place, and we really need it.